Good afternoon. It's been a while since I've recorded one of these. Mark and I we had a big load of activity that went on, and then literally for a year we just got sidetracked with other stuff that paid money. So we stopped doing them. But I just was going to start doing them again. I don't know if they're useful. Who knows? But that's not the point. I wanted to talk a little bit about media and social media and the existential crisis that it seems to be causing the world. Obviously, we've had a TV program called Adolescence that's just come out, and I think most people understand that media, social media, is probably very damaging to a lot of people, and if not used correctly, is possibly changing the dynamics of society. And obviously for all of us, not just impressionable young people, I have at times felt overwhelmed with media, and I certainly think it's probably changing our science, our neuroscience, our personalities, our wellness, our well-being. I think it's creating very complicated dynamics of comparison, of rumination, of overthinking, of possibly isolation in some ways. I think it's discouraging people from making real relationships. I think it's making people more introverted. I think there's lots of, only in time will we know the true impact of what all these phones are doing. And I just wanted to offer a few things up for anybody that might watch this, or if you want to share this to someone for awareness. That's the main thing. And the reason that it's prompted me to talk about it today is that I'm currently here doing some work and doing some slides, and I just jumped onto LinkedIn and went down rabbit holes of all kinds of things, and then I got taken to some news on the laptop about the government and all this stuff, and immediately my mood is impacted. The simple fact is, I think, generally speaking, that mainstream media and social media is quickly filling your head with so much information that your nervous system is going to be absolutely fried. Even if some of that news is positive and funny and uplifting, there's so much of it. We're not designed to take in all these complex narratives all the time. And I think the reality is that it's going to make your cortisol spike. You're going to go into an immediate sense of overwhelm, which will increase anxiety. And therefore, the simple reality is I stopped really watching the news, buying newspapers a decade ago, and it's been a massive improvement in my life. And I would strongly encourage you to do the same. I don't believe that you need to be watching the news and buying a newspaper to be informed. And I would question why you need to be informed. I really don't think in the long run being impacted by external events on a daily basis, which you can generally do nothing about, is going to be healthy for you. Being healthy is controlling the things that you can control and being a better person than yesterday. It's not watching what's happening in 3,000 miles away and being impacted by that. There is a reason why human beings watch the news. There's a reasons why human beings plug themselves into information. A lot of it is a distraction. A lot of it is because having a television on or a phone in your hand is a simple distraction from being in your own head. Now, the secret to all of this is to realize that the information that you're consuming is probably not relevant to yourself in many ways. It's a distraction. It's stopping you doing the things that are in essence important to you and should be about your personal growth. So my advice is to get rid of it all. Use social media, use media in a very much how Google works. Target the things that are important for your personal growth. And that is not generally going to be social media, YouTube, the TV, unless you're using them in a way that is disciplined and you can follow the people that are relevant to the information you're trying to seek, use it for helpful reasons, for connectivity, to stay in touch with local clubs and associations and find out what's going on in your community, to connect with like-minded people. There's nothing wrong with being in Facebook pages and Instagram groups where you're following positive people who are interested in things that you may be interested. There's nothing wrong with connecting with people on social media, providing you're paying diligence to that. There's nothing wrong, in essence, of using apps to connect with people. The issue is self-discipline to connect with the right people that are basically improving your life. And to improve your life, you have to know what kind of life you are wishing to build. So the wider point here about why people, I think, are getting, and I felt this just going onto social media, I went down these rabbit holes, suddenly feel really overwhelmed with things coming at me from, about immigration, about the economy. I'm getting triggered because I run a business and our costs are going up. And it's bringing this, and therefore you can attribute that to the Chancellor's recent reforms. And therefore, just going on to that social media platform and watching some news updates for 10 minutes impacted my physiology and basically sent my system into a overwhelm, fight or flight mode, because all I'm scrolling through on this particular app is fear-mongering, etc., etc. Having that fear in your mind is just simply going to make your life worse. It's not the way to lead a life, by responding and absorbing a lot of fear. So whatever you're doing, whatever age you are, the encouragement is, if you find yourself at home on your own, a bit bored, a bit lonely, don't connect to a phone or an app because it's a distraction. Don't connect with people who you don't know and will never meet. The way to use social media is very structured, very strategic, very positively driven. Get rid of all the crap. When you find yourself going into rabbit holes, stop yourself and just get off it or delete it, right? But realize consciously in your mind and body that you, in any sense of the imagination, reading a newspaper, watching the news, watching television, watching social media, absorbing external events, which you can't do anything about, to be informed. You're being informed because they're telling you to be informed. They are showing you the information that they want you to receive. Your happiness, your contentment, your removal of anxiety, and your peaceful living is going to be improved dramatically by accepting the fact that you are not going to benefit from a lot of information. The world is, unfortunately, a very challenging, difficult, violent, oppressive, disappointing place at times. And the news, etc., inverted commas, social media is full of that. So maintain your own inner peace by regulating the fact that you accept that bad things happen. You don't need to absorb yourself to them. And just live in a world where you're not impacted by other people's misery. Stay away from it. Look after your health. Stay focused on your bettering of your life and your relationships, your real relationships. Work on yourself, work on what you're trying to build in your life, and live with gratitude around what you do have, not what the TV and the media are telling you that you should have. So remove this expectation, right, that something should be the way it is. It's never going to be the way that you hope it is. Unfortunately, there will always be wars. There will always be bad people. There will always be policies and governments and politicians and things that you don't like. And the reason you don't like them is because you have an expectation that something is going to be the way that you expect. And why do people go onto Facebook and make comments on things? because they're upset about other people. Why do they do that? Why do people get so bent out of shape about what's happening in America, but you're living in the United Kingdom? It's nothing to do with this. You're not American. Why are British people so anti-Trump when they're not even American? They don't get to vote for Donald Trump. Why are we commenting and judging and taking a view on other people and other countries and what the government are doing all the time? Why do we generally get so interactive and so influenced by other people doing what they're doing? The unfortunate reality that every government that comes to pass in the United Kingdom, there's half the population that agrees with them and half the population that don't. And clearly there are some very worrying things going on with this government and the policies of this government, as there were to many people for the last government. So you will always have a situation where things that the government do and your local MPs and your local politicians, that you do not feel that they've got your best interests at heart and you are frustrated with their policies. The fact is that they've decided to become politicians and you haven't. So either become a politician or expect the fact that you're going to be let down by people. And much as I would like to say they should all do better and be perfect, that's not humanity. And for some reason, people do stupid things. We know that from our own lives. So do not expect anything other than the world to be in misunderstood chaos. That is the nature of the world. It's the nature of, if you believe in God, if you believe in karma, if you believe in energy, if you believe in spirituality, there will always be things that are uncomfortable to you and to me, whether you watch them on the news or watch them in your own life. And the secret, if there is a secret, is to be fully accepting of this and the nature of this in the world. And being upset by other people's actions is ridiculous, because you've got your own things to be upset about and emotionally manage in your own behavior. So acceptance is just necessary. Otherwise, you'll be in a permanent state of cortisol production, anxiety, overwhelm, mental health problems. Do not expect anything. Live in a state of mind where you hope for the best but expect the worst. Don't fuel the expectation by taking in information from third parties that have nothing to do with you. You're just creating more load on yourself, and more stress and more expectation. So remove that. Remove any expectation you have of how the world should be. And the best thing you can control is the person you are and how you relate to other human beings and how you show up for other human beings, how you put love into the world and how you attempt to be the best person you can be for the time that you have on this planet. That is what you can control. That is something you can work on. And you don't need to be seeking connection and validation from a phone because you're bored. A lot of it's a distraction because we don't want to cope with our own lives and the challenges that we have being in our own head. That's why people turn the TV on and all the time. That's why people scroll phones. So in summary, remove what you don't need, focus on the positive stuff, build your life up around the gym, around real friendships, around real communities, around real networks. Have a long-term focus on what you're trying to achieve. Find your connection with yourself so you don't have to be constantly distracted. And that means sitting by yourself, learning to meditate, learning to not be distracted all the time. And if you struggle with being distracted, then, and when you're feeling overwhelmed, just turn it all off and sit and breathe for 5 minutes. If you're struggling generally with overwhelm, with anxiety, it's a serious thing. So talk to people, get some therapy, open up to your friends, join a talking circle, reach out for real world connection. Share with people how you're feeling. If you're feeling overwhelmed by going onto your phone and something triggers you, turn the phone off, go for a walk and talk about it. We are constantly being overstimulated by things we can't control. remove the distraction, and all the best. Good luck with it. 15 minutes. You do not want to waste your time when you get to your deathbed looking back and going, how much time did I waste watching rubbish I didn't want to see and being impacted by it? There's a wonderful world to live in. If you go for a walk in the woods, go to the beach, talk to your friends, show love and support to people in your life, connect with people, support people, help people, prioritize your health and well-being, have a dream. There's a wonderful world every day, and trust the process. You can create that. You don't need to be impacted by everybody else's nonsense, particularly people that have got nothing to do with you. Hope that helps.